Good morning, y'all. So I'm sitting here and I'm just reflecting on how far I've come. I am super thankful, super grateful for my support system, my beautiful son, his dada, his family. I'm just sitting here and I'm like, yo, it's been 10 years like since my mom kicked me out. Me and my mom don't really have a great relationship. I still love her, I respect her, and I've grown to learn that I have to respect people's healing process. Try to be more understanding, and it's not up to you to decide when a person should get over something. It took some time for me because I used to take it very hard. I'm at that point in life where you just have to mature and become more understanding of people and their feelings. It's crazy because I grew up on welfare in Section 8. I remember going to these hearings with my mom and just thinking like there's gotta be a different way to life, that this cannot be life. Like, you know, I used to hate sitting in these welfare offices. I had to be about 14. I was like, yo, this is where it starts. Like, I gotta get my family out of this cycle. Like, this is not it. I remember applying for summer youth. That's when I realized I was spelling my own name wrong for some time. You know, you need your social and your birth certificate in order to get your working paper. That's when I realized I was spelling my own name wrong, because I looked at my birth certificate and my social and I had an extra A in there. I'm like, Mom, like, what's going on with this? She's like, oh, you know, epidural. What? That makes no damn sense. The epidural got you spelling names wrong? There's no way. You was on something else. It's a whole long story to that, which I would not get into it in this video. If y'all want to know why I was spelling my own name wrong, comment down below and I'll tell y'all why. I felt at that point I was reborn. When I discovered how my name was really spelled, I was like, this is a sign for me to start fresh. Like, whoever that other Shakira is, that is not who I am destined to be. Shakira Sanjuro is going to do the damn thing. Not Shakira. People call me Shakira. It's Shakira. I applied, like I said, I applied for summer youth. I got a job working in a daycare. Was a teacher's assistant. Helping out the teacher, right? Obviously, that's what a teacher assistant do. Still friends with that teacher 10 years later. I'm still friends with her. We have the same birthday. God is so funny. So anyways, I was in high school at the time, and my high school was very big on community service and just getting the kids more involved in like things that matter and make sense. So they were looking for people who were interested in working in this summer camp, and I was one of the people. So yeah, I did summer youth the 1 year. Following year, my school was looking for someone to work the summer camp. So I was like, ooh, yes, I'm gonna hop on that. And I got the job. I had to go and interview and everything. And that job was paying like $15 an hour. Like, and at the time, you know, that was not minimum wage, because it was a very expensive camp. Like that, I'm telling you, like, we had bougie kids. These kids would come with like Biscoff biscuits in their lunch bags, and like not Capri Suns, honest juice boxes and shit. And when I turned 15, I was like, y'all, I need to find a job in the airport. Something about the airport. I remember telling my cousin, like, hey, you like be open to just taking a trip to the airport? My cousin was always down for everything. I'd be like, yo, you want to go and like fly a spaceship? Yeah, let's do it. Jump off a roof? Yeah, let's do it. Like, he was just always like with it. So I wanted to be a pilot, right? So I was like very passionate about this profession. Like, I was literally researching everything. I found a flight school in Farmingdale. Was it Farmingdale? No, it was MacArthur. It was out of MacArthur. And I decided to take a flight lesson. Y'all, this flight lesson was expensive, but my father paid for it. And I took the flight lesson. I remember it was a Cessna 172. My instructor was Kevin Diebel, who I am still friends with as well. Kevin Diebel is actually a black pilot for United, and he flies 777s, y'all. 777s. If y'all don't know what a 777 is, those are the big planes below an Airbus. So Airbus are like those big super jumbo jets, and then the 777s are like right below the Airbuses. So yeah, shout out to Kevin Diebel. And after I took my flight lesson, I could not afford anymore. I was very adamant about getting into the aviation industry. Okay, how about, you know, I become a flight attendant and then that way I can still work in the aviation industry, but I can save up money to go to flight school and be a pilot. That was my plan. I researched and I tried applying, but I was not old enough. At the time, I was 15, going on 16. It's gotta be a way for me to get my foot in the door. So I don't remember what exactly I Googled, but I found a non-profit organization that pretty much provided resources for like stranded passengers in the airport. So they'll give them like food vouchers, baby diapers for babies, obviously, information on like flights and everything like that. I applied for a position in traveler's aid. I got called for an interview. Meanwhile, I'm still in high school. I went to the interview, and I remember sitting in front of Jane, which I still talk to this day. Jane, at the end of the interview, she's like, I don't mean to ask, but how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 15, I'll be 16. Yeah, this was close to my birthday. So she's like, okay, well, see, this program is like mainly for senior citizens who are retired and just are looking for something to dedicate their free time to. But, if you're really serious about this, and earning like, points for school and stuff like that, we can try it out for a week. And if you like it, or if it works out, then we'll continue. So I'm like, oh, this is great, this is awesome. Yes, I was so excited, y'all don't even know. So everybody who works in the airport has a Port Authority ID. You have to have one in order to work in most places in the airport. You need a port ID. But because I was not old enough, you have to be 18 and older, I couldn't get a port ID. So I had like this little makeshift ID made for me with my name and my picture on it, and I was only able to work certain parts of the airport. Page for like wheelchair, I would be there giving like information on your flight. Did that, y'all, for 2 years. Once I turned 18 and I was old enough to get a paid position in the airport, I applied for ULIN, which was a company that was contracted by American to push wheelchairs. So I was pushing wheelchairs for some time. I was picking up unaccompanied minors, bringing them to the gate. This is where it got pretty rough, because I was in my senior year of high school. At that point, being that I was still living in my mom's house and working, and she was on welfare, or pretty much we were all on welfare, it became a conflict because they found out that I was working. So now at this point, they called us in for another hearing because they decided that because I was working, that I was bringing in income. I was only making $7.25 an hour, and I was working part-time. So I was only working about 3 to 4 days a week. And with that being said, my checks were like $150 a week. Y'all if it hit 200, I was like, bye. Because of this money that I was making, can y'all believe that welfare cut my mom's cash assistance? So it got to the point where my mom became very desperate. She's like, listen, you're gonna have to either pay a bill or you're gonna have to get out. And I'm like, what? I'm like, Ma, I cannot afford to pay a bill. Can't. Like, my whole check, like I said, I would get $160, if that, a week. And that was basically my commute, my lunch, and my little necessities that I needed, I lived in the Bronx and I worked at JFK. JFK is in Queens. The Bronx is in the Bronx. So I wasn't focused on, my whole check going to my commute. My focus was on just elevating, because I feel like you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice in order to get to where it is that you want to go. So it became very rocky at home. We got into like a big fight about it because I was really trying to beg her, like, Mom, I can't afford to pay a bill. She's like, you got to get out. I ended up with my grandparents, so my mom's parents. It was rough because me and my mother were not on good terms, and she threw out all my clothes, all the little clothes that I had. I had to beg my high school teachers for clothes. You're in high school, you don't want to repeat, like, because I was able to take some stuff with me, but it was like maybe like 3 outfits. I don't want to repeat outfits in high school. Like that's just another issue that I was not trying to take on. I was just really focused on trying to go to school and finish strong. And I was like, you know what, God got me, I gotta keep going. So I did just that. You know, I kept going, and then Yulin got the contract to do ticketing with American. So, you know, they saw potential in me, and they said, hey, Shakira, you know, they offered me a position to do ticketing with American. So I did that for a little bit. And then after I think 2 years, they lost the contract because US Airways, I believe, was merging with American. So I was like, you know, I really don't want to lose my job. You know, I don't want to get laid off. So I was like, I'd rather look for something before I get laid off. So my best friend at the time did help me get a job where she worked. So she left before I did. She became a clerk at a dialysis center. So I got a job as a clerk there, and then she got promoted to a tech. Right? So I was there for about 3 years, and then at that point I was like, you know, this is depressing. Like, I missed the airport. The airport pretty much got me through a lot. The community there, you know, it's like a little family, right? My home. Like, I need to get back into the airport. You know, now that I look back, I realized that I was gravitated to the airport because I felt like the airport kind of separated me from the other side of life. When I say that, I mean, like, when I lived in the Bronx, it was definitely different, and it's different today, but it was different when I lived there. And I feel like I didn't fit in. I felt like God took me out of that situation and put me in another planet. Put me in another planet, and that's when I was able to build my foundation and just elevate and become somebody and something and find my purpose. And I'm so grateful for my journey. And there were nights where I couldn't afford to eat, like, because I wasn't getting paid. I would use half of my check on like taking a taxi home. I would work 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. but I wouldn't get home till like 3-4 in the morning, and I would have to get up like 6:30 in the morning for school. It was just a hot mess, y'all. So, you know, it really all boiled down to like my ambition and just making sure that I became someone or something, right? And after getting back, so I went back to the airport. I applied for TSA. My ultimate goal was to work for customs. Like, that was my dream job. And I said I definitely wanted, because I had a thing for law enforcement, but at the same time I didn't want to do NYPD. You know, I was like, nobody want to be in the streets. The streets is for the birds. So I applied for TSA, got a position in JFK. I did TSA for about 2 years, and during like my last 6 months, I got promoted to lead officer. And it was just a very humbling experience because my supervisors, they saw my potential. They saw that I was, you know, I was all about working and just getting it, right? And y'all, I can't explain to y'all how grateful I am. There was even a point in time where I got my first car when I applied for TSA, because I was like, you know, since I'm going to be working in the airport, I'm going to need a car, right? My aunt sold me her Honda Accord. So I had the Honda Accord for some time. And then after about, I want to say 4 or 5 months, I got into a very bad accident and I totaled the car. I was so sad, and I'm like, oh my God, this is my first car, and I done fucking totaled the car. This rosary here, my grandfather gave it to my aunt when she got her first car, so she gave it to me when I got my first car. When I got into that accident, I'm gonna tell y'all, everything broke in that car besides me. Literally everything. I had my son's car seat in the trunk, that broke. It was in the trunk, y'all. From the impact, it broke. This rosary stood intact, and I knew from then my grandfather was with me. He's definitely my guardian angel. And I was able to get a new car, which was a Q50. And I got my Q50 and I was like, oh my God, this is great. God is good, you know, because I felt like I never had to really think about, like, how am I going to get to work, you know? It worked out. And then 3 years passed and I'm like, I started to take my art serious. Like, the pandemic came and went. I mean, COVID is still here, right? I feel like the pandemic, like, opened doors for a lot of people. And when I say that, I mean, like, people discovered talent that they never knew they had. So people began to monetize those talents that they had. And then I started to take my art serious, right? So I discovered watercolor, oil pastel, you know, all that type of stuff. But I was like really in love with oil paint. It was messy at first, but y'all, I made it through. My canvases began to get bigger and bigger and I could not fit it into my Q50. Those of y'all who know what a Q50 is, y'all know those are small cars. If you don't know what a Q50 is, Google it. So for my 29th birthday, I was able to get my dream car, the 2023 Jeep Wrangler hybrid, y'all, electric 4xe. So all my canvases fit in here. So I did get to customs. Did I say that? I don't know if I said it. I was just so excited about the car. I did apply for customs. I did get into customs. I've been working for customs for 2 years. So I am just super grateful for my journey, for how far I've come. Like, y'all don't even know half of it. Like, this is just a little glimpse of what I did experience. But my point that I'm trying to make to everybody is that you have to grind. You have to go for it. You have to keep going. Don't let where you come from define who you are. And if you are in a rough time in your life, it's not going to be forever. You have to believe that there will be better out there for you, that there is better for you out there. Y'all made it this far into the video. I am so thankful for y'all sitting here and watching me, not rant, but sitting here watching me just talk. But yeah, y'all, I am so grateful. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I love you. All right, guys, so I'll see y'all around. Again, thank y'all for watching. Love y'all. Bye bye.